So Sid, as you kind of mentioned in some of our discussions we've had over the last year or so, is that when you got there, you needed to go ahead and start breaking down the revenues by project, which is really what we look at as the first step in driving the project profitability. Is you've got to break down your revenues to see what's being allocated to a project, right? And then you needed to move very quickly to a level 3, where we're actually getting labor costing, right? Which is being driven by people entering timesheets in a consistent way of those timesheets and building up those costs. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey in those 2 steps and how you guys accomplished it, and even some of the challenges that you faced during that process?
When I first joined the firm, the first thing I wanted to do was develop a clear and concise revenue recognition system. And the way we started doing that is an Excel spreadsheet where our accountant listed all the projects and had to track manually where we were in the delivery process and where we were over budget and under budget, and make a determination, again, project by project, what revenue we were going to recognize by the department. So you can imagine how unwieldy that became. So this was one of our key priorities when we engaged your firm, is that how can we automate this revenue recognition process, and also being able to recognize revenue by project, by client, by department, along with the corresponding costs involved. And we went through a very long discovery process, and your organization took the time to figure out exactly what needed to be captured. And we designed a system in order for us to report on a monthly basis the clear and concise revenue recognition I was looking for. And it's been very successful, and we are saving a tremendous amount of time on a monthly basis, not having to work on that Excel spreadsheet.
Well, I think that's oftentimes where we find a lot of challenges as organizations grow, is that they do this in spreadsheets, not just for tracking the revenue, but actually doing the revenue recognition. And then when they move into actually want to start getting labor costing, they don't have a good mechanism to bring those together into one place. And I think that's where we started helping you guys is start connecting those, that process could be done within a system. And then you could actually capture the time and push that up to generate that costing that could be allocated to a project. And so the benefits of that is now you're able to see the revenue and the cost of a project from the main drivers of that project, which is the direct cost or the labor costing. And so instead of trying to maintain a spreadsheet, you're able to capture that as soon as people turn in their timesheets, and those timesheets get approved. So even on a weekly basis, you can see how that cost is being allocated. Tell me a little bit about how those benefits have helped you guys as an organization to seeing that cost of your labor moving in a almost real-time basis.
It gives us the ability to know exactly where we are on a project and make adjustments moving forward, either if possible on that existing project and have a discussion with a client about where we are. And more importantly, on future projects, understanding what flexibility we have in either giving a discount in a future project or making sure we increase our rate. So we know during the overall life of that client, we're getting to a gross margin that we need in order to exist and make money. And again, we could get that information in our previous system, but now what may take us a couple hours took us a couple days. So you can see that the efficiency has made a big difference. And keep in mind, when I first got started, doing revenue recognition on a handful of clients wasn't a big deal. But that handful of clients with multiple projects, we were at a point we were doing revenue recognition by hand for 100 projects every single month. And again, it's unmanageable. And we recognize that. when we did, and we've made the adjustment of and the expense and the investment of investing in Intact and with Upland. And we feel we were getting a return on our investment very quickly.
And I think that's the critical piece, is that you put the technology in place that enables this, but also the size, the fact that you got to a certain size, you didn't wait, and you didn't try to keep the mechanical process going. You realized that you wanted to have a faster business cycle, and so you put the tools in place that are starting to allow this to spin faster.
Right, and there's obviously a risk involved in moving from one system to another and making sure you're bringing everyone along with you. And the easy way is you just hire another person and just open up a couple more spreadsheets. But again, over a long period of time, that's going to cost you more money. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to have more places to make mistakes, and you cannot build a foundation like that. You are just coming up with a very short-term fix, and you need to invest in systems and technology. It's the only way that you can survive in today's world. I think the other thing we need to mention is the cost of labor. And our cost of labor has gotten much higher, and our margins have shrunk, which made it even more important that we get timely reports so we can make decisions and changes in a rapid method, in a rapid basis, versus waiting until it's too late.
And we are seeing that as well, is that the cost of labor in this post-COVID world has gone, especially in the technology space, has gone up quite a bit, right? So it becomes even more important to manage your projects because the customers aren't increasing the amount that they're paying. You've got to manage your projects more accurately, and or you're going to lose your profitability.
That's right. And beginning of next year, we'll have a little bit more flexibility, because clients understand that you give raises and benefit cost change, and you can raise rates. But during this whole COVID period, we didn't have that ability. So when we started recruiting more people, our costs went up. We didn't have the ability to turn around and charge our clients more money. So we had to find ways to be more efficient. And then you do that through technology and systems.